guys, this is Chelsea. Before I play my video, I just want to say today's video is about atheism. So I only have 64 subscribers, so there's not many of you, but I know if you're watching the channel, you might expect disability related content, but I named my channel my name for a reason, because I wanted to do all kinds of content. My life doesn't center around disabilities. It's a big part of my life, but it's not my entire life. So I'm branching out to other interests I have. And I know some of you may not like talking about atheism. It's kind of a taboo topic. If you want to skip this video, that's okay. I understand. I belong to AA. And in AA, we talk a lot about higher powers. And I have to talk a lot about atheism. So it's a topic that comes up quite frequently in my life. So that's why I did a video on it. Also, I wanted to tell people that my atheism has nothing to do with my disability. I've seen people on the internet say I'm an atheist because I'm mad at God for my disability. Well, that's all fine and dandy, but then you're not an atheist. Because the atheist doesn't believe God exists. You can't be mad at something that doesn't exist. Sometimes I wish I believe God exists. Today I'm going to read to you an essay I wrote about atheism. I am an atheist. I know that's not a lot of people are atheists, and those who are tend not to talk about it. But I am an atheist, and I do talk about it because I think we need to normalize other types of belief. So there is less fighting in the world. So I'm going to read my essay on atheism. If you don't believe in atheism or if you don't agree with it, that's okay. I'm totally fine with that. I just wanted to read the essay I wrote about why I am atheist and how I came to become atheist. I am an atheist. This is a statement that is really hard to make in today's society because despite what people think, atheism only makes up 10% of the population. So that means 90% of people aren't atheists. So it's really hard to talk about atheism. But I have made this statement. It wasn't easy, and it took some time and research on my part. I have never been a believer, although when I was younger, I tried to believe because I came from a religious community. But as hard as I tried, I never could. I would argue that beliefs aren't chosen. You do not choose to be a believer or an atheist. It's just something that kind of happens. You are either convinced or not. You can't sit down and say, gee, I think today I'll become an atheist. It doesn't work like that. You can change, but not something you can change on purpose. Also, I know people who are atheists who want to be believers. And I know believers who want to become atheists. So it's not something you can change on purpose. I tell people I have no more choice to be an atheist than I had the choice to be disabled. However, you do have the choice whether you embrace it or not. I know many atheists who don't embrace their atheism. They hide it away and they pretend to be believers. I'm not one of them. I have chosen to embrace my atheism. An atheist is anyone who disbelieves or laughs as the definition suggests. In this essay, I will explain the different types of atheism. I will also describe the process I went through to come to this decision to embrace my atheism. Many people see belief in God as black and white. You either believe in a God or you don't. However, as with most things, there are various degrees of belief. The best way I can explain it is that there's an x-axis where belief in gods or gods is located. This is called atheism or theism. And on the y-axis is the degree of belief is located. Narcissism or agnosticism. Narcissism and agnosticism describe the degree to which a person feels they can be 100% certain. For example, a Gnostic theist believes that 100% their God exists. Conversely, a agnostic atheism lacks a belief in a God or gods, but doesn't rule out the possibility that there may be a God. There have been thousands of religions throughout history. Even the most faithful believer is an atheist to all other religions but their own. I tell people, you're an atheist just like me. I just go one religion further than you do. One must ask himself, why? The religions in history, why is the one they follow the true religion? From the time I was a little girl, I've always had a problem with this idea that there is no way to prove which religion is true. To me, who should say a Muslim isn't right, or a Buddhist, or a Scientologist? There is no way to distinguish between the different religions as to the truth of the religion. Each has its own stories and its own traditions that people believe just as vehemently as the next person's religion. The number one predictor of a person's religion is the religion of their parents. To me, this doesn't say anything about the truth of religion. We should see more people changing religion from their parents if there was one true religion. But we don't faith. Many people are willing to die based on their faith. So even the fact that people are willing to die because of their faith isn't a good way to distinguish between what is true or not. Some people will say they get a good feeling from their belief, and that should be considered proof of the truth of their religion. But feelings aren't a good predictor of truth. A lot of people have believed many false things because it felt good to them. People will also say that so many people believe in their faith that it must be true. This is called the argument from popularity, and it is false. And we can see how false this reasoning is if we look back in history. Many people at one time believed lightning bolts came from Zeus. Or at one time, the majority of people believed the earth was flat. Does that mean those were true? Another common example of false reasoning that people use about when talking about God is the argument from ignorance. People use this reasoning when they don't have an explanation for something. It goes, there is no explanation, so therefore God did it. People commonly use this argument with talking about the origin of the universe. We do not currently have a scientific explanation of the origin of the universe. So many people say a God must have done it. But this just shows that people are uncomfortable with the unknown. People have a hard time accepting I don't know as the ether. Humans want a reason for stuff. It's how our brain works. And when we don't know, we seek to find the answer. But sometimes the answer is just, I don't know. That's the intellectually honest answer. And people have a real hard time with that. These examples I have listed above are examples that make me skeptical of religion. To me, there is no mechanism to say which religion is true. And without that mechanism, then one isn't justified believing in any religion. There are some atheists that will cite reasons why there is no God. I'm not one of them. A common misconception option is that an atheist needs to prove God doesn't exist. This is actually contrary to science and reasoning. In science, the burden of proof is on the scientist to prove a hypothesis. A scientist doesn't try to prove the null hypothesis that something doesn't exist. In this example, the hypothesis is that God exists. The default position is to not believe something until it's proven by evidence. We do this because if we do the opposite, believe something until it's shown to be false, then we are stuck believing in contradicting things. So when someone says they will believe in God until someone proves a God doesn't exist, this is a misappropriation of the burden of proof. The same principle is applied in the courtroom. A defendant does not need to prove that they are innocent. The prosecution needs to prove they are guilty. Our court system is not designed to evaluate innocence. People aren't proven innocent. I'm saying God is not guilty of resisting. I have no idea whether he's innocent of resisting. But I'm saying the theist, the believer, has not proven that God is guilty of resisting. There is also a principle that says extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. People claim the Bible is proof of God, but the claims of the Bible are extraordinary, and they require extraordinary evidence. For example, if I claim I have a pet dog, that's a mundane claim, and you would probably accept it on face value. But if I claimed I had a pet dragon, you would probably need more evidence than just my claim. Just like the claims of Jesus, it's not extraordinary to claim there was a guy that named Jesus that existed. I can't accept that claim. I can even accept he was a good moral example. There are those that claim there was no Jesus, but I'm not in that group. But the claims that he healed the sick and came back from the dead are extraordinary, and they require extraordinary evidence. And currently, the only evidence we have is in the Bible. The Bible is not a reliable source of truth. Finally, there is this concept called Pascal's wager, which states it is better to believe or act as if you believe, because if there is a God, you'll go to heaven. And if there isn't a God, then you're not out much. It also says the punishment for not believing in God is so great that you shouldn't risk it by not believing. But this wager doesn't take into account all the different gods. Everyone is taking Pascal's wager when they don't believe in a God. Every God, every religion has its waiver, and everyone says no to this wager except for the religion they believe in. I just go one religion more than a believer does. This essay is not meant to convince anyone. I don't want to convince you to believe the same as me. I just want to show some of the reasons and principles I have used in my journey to embracing my atheism. It is my hope that atheists and theists can coexist and come to some mutual understanding. I personally believe that everyone should learn more about